Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little bit of a story time because I thought it was kind of funny and I just wanted to share it with you guys. So basically, since we upgraded to this brand new tank, for the most part we've used a lot of the same equipment from my old tank. So that goes this for the gyres that we have here, the Red Sea lights that are in the sump, and the issue that we're having today is going to be this flipper aquarium cleaner. So because my old tank was the Red Sea 525, I basically used this same cleaner to clean, this tank as well. But the issue is that this Red Sea glass is 3/4 inch glass versus the old 525 was 1/2 inch glass. So every once in a while, you can see kind of little dirtiness right there, but every once in a while when I use this guy and I start scrub, once I scrub too hard, because there isn't a very good magnetic connection, it falls apart. And sometimes when the gyre blows, this guy flies away to the back of the tank, and it's been a real pain in the butt to try to get this to basically stick back together. So I thought basically, it's time to upgrade. We'll go to the fish shop, spend $60-$70. I remember that's what it kind of was for the new one that kind of floats, and I thought, hey, that won't be too bad. It's an investment for the future of the tank, and I don't have to worry about losing the magnet in the tank, which has been a real pain in my rear end. So I get to the fish store and they basically tell me, hey, there's a brand new one and it's the best thing we've ever used. So today basically we're going to be doing a review of the new flipper, which is this guy, the Flipper Edge. Hopefully that comes out not flipped, because it's flipped when I'm looking at it right now, but we'll see. And basically what we're going to be doing is just comparing the two items. There's some things on this that are really cool that I kind of want to go over. I personally, obviously you see it's still packaged. I haven't used it yet, but we'll go ahead and open it together, see what's inside, and see is it worth the $140, and that's including tax, that I paid for this. Like I said, I was only looking to spend $60-$70, and then it basically doubled in a heartbeat. But we're gonna go ahead and open this together, and we'll see what's inside. So right off the bat, before we even open the package and go through everything, you can see immediately the size difference. The new Max Flipper is at least, I would say, maybe 3 times the size of the Flipper. I can kind of take that both ways. Number one, it's, nice and big, so for sure that magnet is going to stay to the glass and you probably won't have any issues with it separating. On the bad side, I'm a person that likes to keep things very low profile in the tank, so I hardly notice things here and there, especially like wiring. I've made it, my life's goal to barely see any wires on this tank. So seeing this thing being as big as it is maybe a little bit of an eyesore, but I do see this as kind of an investment into the cleanliness of the tank. So take it as a positive or a negative. I can actually take it as a little bit of both. So here we have the two flippers together. Even now you can see the considerable size difference and just the super beefy handle that we have on this Max Flipper. Now, when you open the flipper, you basically get, of course, the flipper itself. And what makes this a lot different, besides the size and obviously the size of the magnet, is the way that these blades are placed. For this new one, you actually have 2 blades, one on each side, which is basically double algae control, which is a significant improvement upon the old flipper, which really just has the 1 blade on the one side. And another thing that's interesting is on the old blade, you had to replace this very specific blade that you had to buy from Flipper. Now, this Flipper basically comes with 2 kinds of blades. You get the standard ones for acrylic. I'm not sure what this ridged part is for. Probably just for scraping something. But I do know that you can use this side just to get, the coralline algae that grows without having to worry about scratching the glass. And then they do come with these two stainless steel blades. And what's really cool about these blades, once you put them in, is number one, when you put them in, it seems kind of loose, but once you push in, it kind of catches somewhere and it holds itself in place, which is really nice. And you can actually flip the blade around once it gets dull, and you basically have another side that you can use. Chances are, to me, you could probably also flip it over this way and use the other essential edge of the blade, which, will make this last a lot longer. And you basically do that to both sides here. Now, to me, that's a pretty significant improvement upon the original flipper that we used to use. This one blade would only fit one direction. So once the essential bottom edge got dull, the top edge, even though it might not be dull, is basically useless because it only fits one certain way. Now, to me personally, I don't really care about this little foam bit that they use to clean glass, because personally I've never even used the one on here before. To me, honestly, it's just kind of useless when it comes to glass. When you're cleaning an aquarium like a reef tank, to me, this part doesn't really matter. It's really all about the scraper. It does the best job, gets the algae, and of course, when you flip the flipper to try to get onto this backside, a lot of times it lands in the sand, which is super annoying. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do first is get the scrapers back into the tank just to see how they do. And here we have basically the original flipper that I've had for years. Like I said, it does a great job, but every once in a while, they'll just go a little too hard and it basically just flies away. Now, the new flipper is basically just a super giant magnet that I can barely even take off. And it comes with the original, just like a felt layer that you see with the original flipper. It's a little bit thicker on this, which is nice. One thing I found an issue with the old flipper, which I'm pretty sure is the same with this one as well, is that if you get a little salt creep on the outside of your tank and you run over the flipper with this, it gets really dirty. And it leaves streaks sometimes, not scratches, but streaks, which is really annoying. But it's not that big of an issue, but that's just something that I'd like to mention that, some people might worry about. The other half is just do not expose to excessive heat. And then the massive brick that is the actual flipper itself. Now, the first thing, like I had mentioned before, is just the enormity of the actual flipper, Max versus the original, which is this one's the medium size, but it is literally like 3x the size, which to me is absolutely crazy. But right off the bat, I can tell that this guy while it holds pretty well for the most part, you can kind of feel the give being from the magnet not being strong enough. But for this guy, I basically have to grip the whole thing just to get it to move anywhere, which is really what I'm hoping for. And just to kind of give it a test, you can see here in the back we have a whole mess of coralline algae that I just haven't been able to get to. Number one, because the suction between the original flipper, the magnetic suction, just hasn't been strong enough to actually scrape off that coralline algae because it's grown so thick. So we're going to go ahead and test it with this big guy and see how easily it'll come off. And I noticed right off the bat, it does take a little bit of force to get this guy to move over. And I just went ahead and put on the orange filter just to make it super white. But I want you guys to see how easily it takes off all the algae, which is basically feeding my fish right now. But moving it right through, you see all the little bits just float off, and then you just kind of have the little fish just going to town on the little leftovers. Now, even with its size, it does not seem like it has any issues turning corners, which is really great. And it doesn't snap back too hard either, so it kind of takes out the worry of kind of destroying the glass. But yeah, so far it seems like it's doing a pretty darn good job. I just love how it hangs nice and tight. And even though it just looks so darn beefy, which is my kind of my only gripe about this guy, just the fact alone that, you know, it just cleans great, which has been really annoying me lately. It really takes kind of just that worry away. And also, even though it doesn't say it, this guy does actually float. So it just floats right back up, kind of just stays where it is. Absolutely perfect. I just don't have to worry about losing it in the tank like I did with my old flipper. Now, I haven't had any issues, obviously, since I've only had it for a little bit, as far as it scratching the glass. But, you know, only in the long term will we see if that'll be an issue. I don't see that being an issue because there really isn't anywhere for this to catch. It's basically just standing right on the blades. So I don't see where sand can really get anywhere. But like I said, only time is going to tell. But once again, as always, guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, especially on the road to just 1,000 subscribers. I don't even know a quarter of that many people. But like I said, thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.